In the bottom right-hand corner, we're going to start things off with the Red Terran player from Team Liquid. It is Clem. Taking on, in the top left-hand side, the Blue Protoss player from the Shopify Rebellion. This is Harstem. So yeah, we'll be, I'll kind of talk about the schedule a bit further down the line, guys, because I'm still not 100% sure when, where, what, etc. So, yeah, we'll just, we'll figure that a bit further down the line and so on. We'll just see where the day takes us, where the games are. I do officially have a schedule, it's just I rescheduled it like 20 minutes ago, and so it's not like in my head exactly what is when, etc. It's, you know, very much so just written in a Discord chat that I'll go and check back on in a little while, so, yeah. Can't trust what's on the internet, I know. Even your favorite stream is lying to you guys. This Wardy guy put up a schedule, said the players are time to play, and now he's changed everything to accommodate somebody. At this point, when am I getting cancelled, quite frankly? Get the pitchforks out right now. Let's just cancel me today. You know, save everyone the time. As you have our probe coming in, SCV will get a little bit of a nibble. And there's going to be an SCV nibbling back at that probe as well, so pretty typical early game harass out of this little probey. Nothing too surprising about that, honestly. And yeah, our probe continues to get chased around by our SCV for a little bit, so probe is on the run. Looks as though he is obviously going to make it out, though. Turns out an SCV cannot actually catch that. So yeah, probe just being as annoying as possible. Nothing too crazy about that. Pretty standard for the moment. And otherwise, just going to be seeing our Reaper coming through. And yeah, just all the kind of typical bits and pieces, right? Everything's just kind of coming through as expected. In that regard, so Harstem, nibbling, Clem, building. Obviously, as he gets that Reaper onto the map, he can go and try and pick up some early game information. I'm sure that's going to be a priority for him in these early stages. And I think that's something we'll expect him to be doing in the next couple of moments, so eyes on that, as otherwise we just have ourselves, yeah, Clem heading into that factory. That factory is obviously our first main kind of point of tech here now, so getting towards that as we do have our Reaper continue to dance around. Adept still chilling. Again, factory, bunker, refinery, reactor, all of this continuing through. We do get another probe across, drop a Stargate onto the main base. Reaper would love to hop up here. Is going to take one shot, two shots. And otherwise, still just going to be seeing now our factory building up a tech lab, so getting that underway as well. As do have our Adept still running around the bottom side here. Reaper still gets chased away. And that will be that for the moment as we continue to get everything up and rolling. Yeah, so Stargate choice. Clem plays a second barracks as well. Clem's going to go quite biocentric, though Cyclone's going to be great. Cyclone Marine to defend these initial oracles and whatever else out of the Stargate should be a pretty awesome way to play. And meanwhile, Harstem is going to play the Stargate, and I said oracles, it might just be straight to Phoenix, which it is going to be. That's pretty typical of Harstem. It's a style he absolutely loves. It's a style that 100% works very well in PvT right now, so not really too surprising at all to see that actually turn out to be the choice. And so we get to get that up and running straight away as the Phoenix still continues to chrono boost out of the Stargate. So bringing that up. The Marines popping out the bunker. Reaper coming around the front. Obviously still just perusing. Seeing the third CCs, obviously third Nexus is pretty nice because now you know that he is putting some money into that. And if you do want to go across the map with Marine Cyclone, it's more likely to be effective with your opponent having, you know, taken the expansion quickly on the third base. So that is information you can work with. That is 100% information you would like to utilize here. It's stuff that I imagine we are going to utilize as we continue on by. Cyclone the Marines will get active there and see if there's anything troublesome they can cause. And we do get rid of one Adept already. Second Adept now taking some shots. Third Adept in trouble, but the Phoenix will show back up to lift the Cyclone. Now these Adepts can actually deal with the Marines while the Phoenix can deal with the Cyclone. And there's actually going to be a pretty reasonable cleanup. We lost one more Adept unnecessarily as we maybe could have lifted that Cyclone again just a moment sooner to get it back in the sky and to take it out of commission. Another Cyclone lifted up. Just one Marine on the ground is not doing the damage necessary here. So Cyclone dies and Clem's rallying across the map is not working out for him. Harstem found himself in a pretty solid position. Clem just a little bit too aggro. Really trying to get something done and it's just not there. And that's going to be, yeah, just rough start for Clem. Good start for Harstem. 3 bases, now starts to Twilight in the Forge. Interesting, obviously, he didn't really show us what his tech behind the Phoenix was going to be yet. We oftentimes assume Phoenix Colossus, but it looks like this will actually be Phoenix Charge Lot as we get this one up and rolling this time around. Charge, armor, continuing through just for the moment, so bringing those upgrades out, that is going to be the next step of this, so no surprises on that one. There's going to be seeing a few Marines coming over, the Phoenix coming across, trying a little bit of an idea of what's going on, see if they can put on just a little bit of additional pressure. Apologies, guys, just got a little bit confused for the moment. Just was answered a quick question on the Discord, and I looked back and I was like, wait, what's going on? Remind myself of this game. But yeah, I mean, Immortal on the way up, Phoenix, obviously Charge and Armor. If we can get to all these upgrades, I love it for Harstem. His economy is amazing as well. A little bit worried about just this attack right now. Like, this is a moment where Harstem doesn't have a lot of these things in play. He doesn't have Charge. He doesn't have much other than the Phoenix, so yeah, this is absolutely concerned. This is probably going to be the scariest part of this game for Harstem, and it could unfortunately be one where the game just ends if he's not careful. Immortal's kind of on its own. We do have sentries to force field. What are we going to do force field wise? Apparently not much at all. Just going to use the sentries for damage. The Zealots do have charge finishing now, so they can charge and catch up, and that is the defense Harstem's looking for. He gets there. Nice. Like I say, that was absolutely going to be one of the scariest moments of this game for Harstem, and he is going to defend it. And he is going to continue to chase as well, so he's going to try and find maybe the medevac. He loses a Phoenix. That's a little bit messy on the chase, maybe losing more than required. Obviously, turning back around here isn't exactly fun or easy to do either, because the sentry drops a forced field, but there's obviously still mines lingering around as well, so a few other bits and pieces continuing to come on through. Zealots, couple sentries, the Immortal continue to set around. There's going to be seeing our medevacs coming across, going to get ready to unload. A couple Phoenix will continue to put some damage out already, and we are going to go straight onto that pylon, knock that down. Stargate is going to be finishing, finish producing for the moment because it's got no pylon attached any longer, so that Phoenix will not get out, and Clem just being as annoying as possible with the drops, trying to pull Harstem around a bit. This is punishment for losing the Phoenix, right? So having so many Phoenix taken down earlier now means that you just don't have as comfortable drop defense as Harstem. And that is 100% a problem. That's 100% part of the issue here. And yeah, generally will be something that Harstem has to try and play around. He's trying to get more Phoenix up so he can defend those drops better. But yeah, definitely a way to go in terms of trying to improve for the moment. Yo, Fantasy TYTY Fanboy, thank you so much for the 28-month resub. Welcome back. Appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Thanks for supporting the stream today. First resub of the day, question mark? I think so. Off the top of my head, it is. I don't think I've said thank you. That or I've just not said thank you to anyone else that subbed, so screw you guys. Give me all your money, lol, lol, lol. Something like that. No, thank you for the sub, and let's see where we are going to go in the near future as we just have ourselves the Nexus setting up, just kind of chilling around, waiting to see where we're going to go with this. Armory on the way, Marauders, Marines, and a Ghost coming up. Our +1 armor finishing for Clem. He is going to have a slight upgrade lead. I mean, +1 attacks coming up from Harstem, and he's got +2 started, so it shouldn't be a major thing, especially with Chrono Boost. I think Harstem should be kind of okay upgrade-wise. Harstem, maybe not quite the economy he wants. He got to 3 bases quickly, but obviously with the struggles he's had recently, dealing with these drops and so on, he's not really made it up to base number 4, which I think at this point of the game, usually you would like to see a 4th base coming up. You would like to see a few more probes available to go onto that 4th base ASAP. I think these are just a couple of things which would help out a bunch. That's a lot of mines, by the way, so we're going to have to play dodge, dodge the Widow mine as Harstem, or at least try to set them off as effectively as possible, because right now he's staring down the barrel of, well, not just a gun, but like 20 little explosions that could absolutely destroy his army, so he needs to be extremely careful about that position, and just about mines in general, right? Colossi are great against the mines, so are the disruptors that you see coming up here, so, in general, he is getting answers to these mines, which will help him as, the game progresses onwards. We'll see if it turns out to be enough as we go back and forth a little bit with the bio, a little bit with these couple of ghosts. Colossus is getting a few more shots off. Widow Mines are going to burrow. Nexus will be taking a few more shots as well. Another Widow Mine shot is out already coming through. It's going to be seeing a Colossi actually getting a bit on, fully surrounded. That's going to be a little bit nasty. We're going to lose one, we're going to lose two. The full surround from Clem is great. Harstem was just a little slow to get reinforcements. He honestly nearly had enough to hold this off and to not take too much damage, but the Zealots were just so slow to get there. Now he's chasing. How much value can we find on the chase, especially if you lift up some of these ghosts? There might be some good value to be had, but we just can't get the Phoenix any further forward. Enough bio apparently to stand strong and to push this back, turn this around. We are going to be seeing Harstem kind of reeling back there for a couple of moments. 2-2 upgrades still coming in. Blink is still about to finish. Our Marines, our Marauders all continuing out as our Ghosts and our Bio continue to hit onto this Nexus, so a bit more damage being dealt. Widow Mine's going off. A few of these Zealots getting picked away at. Viking getting blown up as well. A couple of EMPs will go down. Stalkers and all the rest getting chipped away at here as our Ghosts will get lifted by those Phoenix, and then they're going to get dropped on down. Zealots still charging through. In the end, Harstem is going to have Clem on the run, but I don't think he's got enough to keep chasing again as you go into, preset Widow Mines and all the rest. I think that's really where your issues kind of arise, and you just can't really do too much more in that situation, so... Well, another couple of Widow Mines is going to blow up a few more Zealots here, just to open up the space a little bit. Again, Harstem just trying to keep this army pushed back. His economy, his stronger point at the moment is army supply is definitely trailing. Problem was losing those Colossi especially really resets you in terms of what you can do. I mean, when you have a whole bunch of Colossi, right, you're really in a sort of position where it's very difficult for the Terran to just push up into you, but now having that camp brought back down, it just gives Clem so much more freedom when it comes to attacking in. Suddenly, as Harstem, you can't hold off those, swabs of bio as easily, and everything just a little bit funkier. They do knock down the medevac here. The Widow Mine drop will go off for, I believe, a probe that got microed into the prism. So cute play from Harstem to minimize any damage being taken there. As you do see Bio still setting up. Zealots wanting to try and maybe charge on in. Not going to go for it just yet. Again, Starport, a couple more Vikings, Marauders, Ghost. All of this continues to produce. 3-3 still coming up right now. And seeing if that can be obviously good for Clem. I mean, Harstem was also getting 3-3, so these upgrades remain to be pretty even kind of throughout this game. No one's really taken a major kind of side advantage on upgrades. Which is fine. It's just one thing we don't necessarily have to consider so much as we discuss where things are at and what we're up to. Gonna see a couple of Viking shots going off. Colossus taking some damage at Bio. Our Ghosts gonna try and get involved. Here you see a little EMP go down. Probe, Stalkers all getting coated in that EMP, losing out on some of their shields. And even just draining some battery energy away already is kind of nice, right? It's one of those things that's just gonna be now less available to Harstem whenever a larger fight maybe does break out in this location. Knocking down this set of rocks opens up the map a little further. Bio still pushing up. Stalker's getting chased. The pylon here likely to go down in a few moments' time. Stalker's turning right back around. Just going to blink under. Medevac will take an additional little bit of damage. Disruptor continues to play Chasems over here, trying to just find a little bit of this, that, or whatever that is available. Vikings, Bio, Ghosts. Continue over the sides here and just going to be seeing that disruptor shot. Not quite going to land on too much. A little bit of Bio now will run in on this left-hand side. Going to go straight after that Nexus. And Stalker's still chasing through as well. A little bit of Marine Marauder being knocked down already. Harstem in a lot of trouble. Those Colossi obviously just not surviving against the Viking count. The Disruptors can't quite get in reach. Oh, that's a big Disruptor shot. Oh my god, Harstem like triple guessed himself. Oh no, I mean, he still got a decent connection with it, but he had like the money shot lined up, and then he was like, rah! And obviously the Terran was moving too, so that just felt like in the end there was a little bit of a split from Clem, so while it was big, it wasn't like gruesome big. Zealots in the main base of the Terran play. This is crazy enough that this might be frustrating enough that Clem can't deal with it easily. You're already seeing 9 SCVs going down on the left side of your screen, so that's already some pretty serious damage adding up. A couple extra Disruptors are still coming through. The +3 attack upgrade is going to be finishing shortly as well. So all of this done soon for Harstem. However, he is now starting to face off against a whole new wave of units from Clem. Liberators, Ghosts, Marines, Marauders, all of these continuing out right now. All of these being brought into play. And that is 100%. These are all things which you got to look at right now and be like, huh. Like, do you really want to be playing against all of these as, you know, the Protoss player? Absolutely not. This is difficult to play against these things, right? These things are not easy to play against in the slightest. So, got to be kind of careful about that as Bio and Ghosts getting a few more cleanups. The DTs and the Zealots and the harassment in general here has been amazing for Harstem. That has 100% been one thing to keep him on the right track in what has become a slightly more difficult stage of the game. As we went through an early game that you looked pretty good in, and this is nice if you can jump on smaller groups of bio units while also hitting the main base once again. Just trying to cause trouble here, there, and everywhere. Disrupt the shot lands for just a couple Marauders to open up with, and these Zealots, like I said, just annoying, right? Reinforcements having to stop to deal with them. Now we get a few more warpins, including a DT, just force a scan or an EMP to at least be able to deal with that, as well as another little, you know, note. EMP's going down, 5 SCVs being broken. Disruptor shot gonna land for that Ghost. I think Harstem's staying competitive enough. I think he's doing enough to really be still in this game in a big way. So, pretty happy for him. Like I say, looks pretty good so far. Got plenty more libs on the way out. Marine Marauder 2. We are going to go diving down. Going to go and make a play onto this location. Try and knock down this base a little bit. Well, a couple of libs coming up. They are 100% going to be one of the difficult parts of this. Fighting into Liberators is not easy to do. It's extremely difficult, in fact. And I think that's the one thing that Harstem's really going to struggle with more than anything. Dealing with those Liberators. As they get into higher numbers, you typically want to see like a Fleet Beacon transition. Oh, Harstem again. Maybe could have had a higher chunk of units there. He doesn't finish off the planetary either. He's scared about the Terran Force jumping on him. Again, just... Clem was paying no attention at all. If he went slightly left with that Disruptor, he would have hit so much stuff. And that is another connection that kind of maybe makes up for some of the misses he's had. Harstem with money in the bank. Clem is drained. He is broke. Down a whole chunk of workers as well. We might be able to get through and get this base in the end. Maybe not because of, well, I've said it once or twice, Liberators. So that base survives, but Harstem is still in a pretty good spot, especially as he spends his money. He is currently controlling this game, and we are far from being done just yet. Another Disruptor shot coming through. Let's try and find a little extra. Unit's going to work our way through the rocks here for just a couple moments as well. It's just picking our way through that. Disruptors continue to zone Harstem. Yeah, I was going to say, blink and get a couple of libs here, knock down some of this defensive setup that Clem's been working on. The bio comes back across, and we'll immediately see a few of these Stalkers taking hits. A couple of Zealots taking some shots as well. Disruptor shot flies through, but isn't close enough to really reach anything. Well, Zealots coming across. Widowmine trying to line up. Doesn't really find anything at all, though, and now this orbital has to lift. The orbital will go down. Looks as though Harstem's really found his way to break through this, and Harstem's going to open the day with a 1-0 lead against Clem. That is a step. A lot of times, actually. It has been an event that, yeah, has actually really been a fun one to cover the last few years. It's been fun to keep track of. In the top left-hand side, down a map, is going to be our red Terran player from Team Liquid. It is Clem. His former teammate in the bottom right, the blue Protoss from the Shopify Rebellion, is Harstem. Optional player, thank you so much for the 7-month resub on the Prime. Thank you so much, I appreciate it. Thanks for the love, guys. Thanks for the support. Staying just above 700 subs. Beautiful. Beautiful. Given that yesterday was the Summer Solstice Spring Championships putting in work this year, look. I can't help when there's tournaments, okay? I can't help that there was like this big ESL Masters thing going on. You know? Anyway, spring officially ends on June 21st. Oh yeah, that was yesterday. Okay, look. It's the championship from the spring season. It makes sense the spring season was played in spring. That's just the championship of it, alright? Aye. Look, if Sweden didn't exist, we would have been done with this event by now. So blame DreamHack, blame ESL for scheduling their tournaments when they do. Don't blame me. It's not my fault I'm not creative enough to come up with names other than spring, summer, and winter. Maybe I should have called it the WardiTV Flower Picking Championship or something. I have no idea where I'm going with this. Yeah. Hi from Costa Rica. Hello, Costa Rica. Thanks for watching from such a wonderful exotic place. That's amazing. Hope you're doing well. Can't wait for WardiTV Summer Championship in February 2024. Oh my god, you guys are the worst. Look, there's just too much StarCraft going on. We will have summer events soon, don't worry. Summer Championships lined up. Korean Royale is lined up as well, actually. The schedule is set in stone. I can't move things when they're just refusing to, line up with other things, It was even hard enough to run this event. I mean, I literally came home from Sweden. This event's been scheduled. Players have been notified from before I went. And then, Afrika are like, hey, by the way, we had to cut all the GSL prize pool, but here's another Afrika Champions Cup. And by the way, all our qualifiers are right over WardiTV's tournament. Ah! God damn it. That's what I should call it. The WardiTV feel free to schedule over this because everybody does anyway tournament. The WardiTV, we don't exist. I'll sort out all the problems. You guys just do your tournaments when you want event. Ay. The game's so dead, you literally can't not overlap events still. It's kind of a weird phenomenon, right? Because there's no denying that StarCraft obviously is not in the healthiest of places when it comes to player count and even pro player count and stuff. Okay, maybe viewership's dropping off a little bit. Obviously, we still have a very core, strong fan base. But the one thing that's really never slowed down, or even when it has slowed down, in one way it's picked up in another, is events. Like, I appreciate we used to have maybe, way more offline events. But as there's been less offline events, people have stepped the hell up in terms of running online events, right? Like, it is kind of crazy. The way that there's barely ever a day where there's no StarCraft 2 tournament, right? On, like, a sizable scale where you can watch the very best players in the world play live, It's kind of ridiculous, no? Kind of ridiculous, like, just how crazy active the tournament scenes. I think it's just a case of it is fairly easy to run online events for StarCraft, so it is easy to run these things compared to other events and other tournaments and other games. Just fascinating though, really, because you would have thought that there would at least be a little bit of a quieter kind of period nowadays. Anyways, into this game. I'm not talking too much about it. Again, a little bit distracted just because there's not much going on. It is going to be similar to the last game from Harstem, but he's going to go Robobay instead of Charge. From Clem, he is going to go for this Widow Mine drop. He didn't go Cyclones this time, so he kind of avoided this whole kind of idea of Marine Cyclone walk across the map that, didn't really work too well for him. I mean, Harstem really had a great start last time. He's going to have a great start here. Widow Mine drop completely denied and should, in theory, be able to take down this Medevac now as well. Hunting that down should be a pretty big okay. Okay, well, yeah, you didn't get the Medevac because it boosted, and you lost 2 Phoenix. That's actually quite painful. It was all looking good for Harstem. Until one awful moment where the Widow Mine shot at the Phoenix. That was a little bit brutal. That was a little bit tough. Ouch. Ouch. One Hellion over here going to find a probe, maybe even 2 before there's no left energy on them Phoenix as well. Oh no, Harstem! It was such a good start, and now he is bleeding out, and now there's going to be a big push of Clem coming as well, and all of a sudden you've been taking damage and busy with other things. Do you have the attention to actually deal with this attack? Well, a Colossus shows up. That is going to be your hero. Widow Mine goes off for just the Adept. That's absolutely fine, I think, for Harstem just to kind of trade that out, play the cleanup game there. I think that is okay. Stim, Combat Shield, both on the way out still. As when Clem hits those, he can obviously keep up the aggression to a whole new level as well, so we'll be keeping our eyes on that, seeing how effective that perhaps turns out to be as well. So, lots going on here early, lots going on initially. A busy time at the start of game number 2, where... yeah, it definitely felt great for Harstem. It's definitely felt not so great for Harstem. We are 100% going a bit back and forth right now, man. We are on a wild timeline. Fun though, fun to watch as a few Marines here will get caught. And it's going to help to deflect this drop and to ensure that this should not be able to be too successful or anything. So, trying to make sure that doesn't go down. And yeah, just going to be seeing extended thermal lens coming up. A couple Medevacs are still coming through. Bio continues over as well. And Colossus, Adepts, Phoenix will be there to push those Marines away. down through the bottom side. Colossus getting a few more shots off and will be coming in. Trying to defend this base. I think we should be fine. There's not enough DPS here from Clem to really clean this out quickly enough. So I think, like I say, this should be kind of more or less okay. That has turned out to be true. As we do have the drop in the main base, though, and this is the issue. This is going to be where Clem multi-prongs. This is kind of the issue that Harstem had last game as well. This is definitely why you start to, look a little bit weaker, to look a little bit worse, and it's going to be absolutely the case here as well, that you just can't hold on against this pressure, and Clem this time is actually going to just come through and win out this game. And like that, we are going to go straight on into a game 3 for our first matchup. On the right-hand side, tying it up 1-1. Our blue Terran player here will be Clem. While on the bottom left-hand side, our red Protoss player from the Shopify Rebellion is going to be Harstem. Alright then. A final map between these two. Start off the day. I believe Lambo Harstem is going to be our next matchup after this, guys. Like I say, we've had a little bit of scheduling change in here and there, but that's generally roughly what's going on. Let's just keep you guys up to date. Let you guys know roughly what's going on in general as we continue through. What happened in game 2 was so fast. Yeah, Harstem just had a bit of a rough start, and the micro kind of just started to get the better of him, and just in the end just got kind of multi-pronged to death. That's what it really came down to. He just got multi-pronged to death at the end of the day. Nexus goes down. Command center coming up. Reaper's on the way as we get ourselves going here in game number 3. Cyber Core Simulator, all of this being brought up. The Factor's going to go down the main base. CC starts up on the natural. We are going to be seeing the Nexus just building as well, and up and off and away we go, basically. TLDR, StarCrafts are starting to happen. We'll see if Harstem goes for his third Stargate in a row. He will not. He goes Twilight Council instead. So just going to be heading into that. Yeah, it is absolutely a bit of a mix-up. Twilight coming up, couple probes, warp gate. Do you see our Reaper coming through? Our gate, Rock's taking just a little bit of damage. Alien, Reactor, Orbital, Starport, all of this continuing in for the moment. And let's just see our Reaper of Clem continuing to chill out around the front here. Obviously would like to maybe get a little aggressive onto that Adept, or at least try and get in some information spot that this is Blink on the way up. Try and get that identification would be amazing, of course. Clem saw it was meant to be the Spring Championship, so he's making up for lost time. Okay, guys. I get it, okay? I'm sorry. You know what the worst part is? Is that the finals of this event is still like 2 weeks away because we have to do Home Story Cup. Home Story Cup basically knocks our entire tournament back yet another week, so yeah. I don't know how you guys are going to cope with this. I feel like you guys are going to have a spring versus summer overload. It doesn't make any sense, guys. Is Wardy doing this on purpose? Wait, what year is it? Everyone's just sat there confused, no idea what's going on anymore. Yo, thank you so much. Apeiron on Totita. Wow, that was a name and a half to try and figure out on the fly. Thank you so much for the Prime sub. Welcome. How you doing? Thank you so much for subscribing. Nexus goes down on the third base here from Harstem, so he's just going to get his third up quickly with this Blink. He's not going to go super aggressive with the Blink play. Just pretty standard stuff for him starting out. Robe of Facility about halfway done. We do see Raven coming up here from Clem, getting that started as well, so Raven just going to be on its way. Obviously, the Raven has so much utility, and especially in a game where he's not up against the Stargate, it's the perfect chance to try and get a Raven out compared to earlier, where Phoenix would have been Raven hunting pretty much the entirety of the game and looking to try and deny that as we do deal with this Widowmine. And we got the Hellion in the main mineral line. I think this is all a distraction for the drop to get unloaded in the main base, which it will be able to do. That drop will come out. Just going to be seeing the Raven obviously about to finish, and we'll see where Clem goes from there. In the end, this drop didn't really do too much. We get chased away. And so I think our early game is going to be pretty peaceful between these two now. I don't think there's going to be anything too wild happening in the near future as charge continues up. A few extra probes are still coming out. There's a lot of establishment being done still as a few Marines unload, get into a bunker, just going to set up over here, make sure we're safe. Harstem doesn't have a ton of gateways to be aggressive with, but 4 Stalkers can still one-shot a Marine, one-shot SCVs, so you do want some amount of defense just to minimize the damage that Harstem can deal. If there was no bunker, he could have gone Marine, 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 and suddenly you are losing quite a lot of Marines, whereas with the bunker, he lost 1, he pulled back behind it, and then Harstem can't really stand around and stay committed there, you know? Raven doesn't get any kills, actually. The probes get away, low HP. Is going to be another auto turret in the natural. It's stocked up with energy right now, so this Raven has some time to utilize. See now our Stalker's coming through. Going to have some shots. We're actually going to kill the Raven. That's a massive grab. Killing the Raven is actually huge, because that is a unit which, like I say, has so much utility throughout the game, so to be already losing it is... yeah, I guess just surprising, to say the least. I mean, Clem usually a little bit better than that with his Raven, right? Usually a little bit more on point, a little bit kind of faster to make sure it's not going to get caught out like that. I will go ahead and say that, yeah, that is a little bit surprising. Now, Bioforce not coming down to this low ground, and Medivac will load up and take us out down the bottom side, or down the right-hand side of the map. So away we go with this, a Stimpack, +1 attack. These upgrades continuing on through. Bioforce coming forward, and there's an observer overhead. It's going to be able to keep an eye on that bio group of units for just a little while. More shots, bio pulling back just a little bit further. Still just waiting to see where we take this in terms of Clem being aggressive. I mean, again, he lost a few things, so if he had a larger push in mind, that may no longer actually be on the menu. That is 100% a possibility with what Harstem was able to pick off. Now, there is going to be this drop coming in, and there's no defense to that. Harstem's pretty quick to respond, though, pulling his workers away pretty much immediately. You can't really doubt him there. That was pretty quick response. Now, we will lose 1 pylon. The bio still trying to come across. The Widow Mines going to go after the Argon, and a couple of the Stalkers getting hit in that as well. So that was actually some really nice mine damage. There's Clem still in the main base too, and it's these drops, it's these multi-prongs that Harstem has really struggled with. Oh, he's walled with his own Twilight Council. Clem sees the opportunity to get even more done, and my goodness, he got a few more probes out of that. Loving it. Zealots on the other side will try and cause chaos, and Clem isn't immediately ready to deal with this in fairness, so this will start to deal some damage. And this is going to be a way for Harstem to start taking steps back into a game which is definitely not looking as pretty as it once was for him. It's definitely taken a couple of sour turns, unfortunately, but nothing that can't still yet be recovered from. As 5 SCVs end up going down, we do see a little bit of bio now. Going to try and just aim toward that pylon here, and a couple of one-on-one shots again are going to be pretty good. Now getting overrun on this third base as well. Harstem really is just, I think, struggling to keep up is really just the issue he's having. Not just this game, but the last game as well, and even a little bit in game 1, it's where he started to maybe lose some of the control he initially had in the game. I mean, he just can't keep the right amount of units in the right places, and it just means that Clem is consistently overrunning him, just making him, like I say, almost running around silly in a way, right? He's like, you know, go here, go there, go absolutely everywhere. He just cannot keep up. Like I say, units are just not in the right places twice in a row. It's turned into a bit of a brutal one as Viking continues to chase his Prism down the right side. Stalkers, few Zealots coming around, Medivac up in the skies as well is just going to be pulling back. This is basically I guess, just a defense against an all-in. If this is Harstem's entire army, it's not a lot, is it? Oh no, that really is not a lot. That's going to be a dead Archon immediately, and yeah, this is going to not be enough. Harstem was run around silly. I feel like this is like a t-shirt you can buy. It's like, you know, when you see people like wear these like touristy t-shirts, it's like, I went to the XYZ and got, you know, ABC'd. It's like, I played a game.